when they tried them on and were able to give the okay and say yes.
They were so modest and yet so absolutely beautiful. They looked like princess dresses.
17 Kids and Counting Part 16, but this is a 10-minute video, and I need to move my lights. You see, this is a problem. If you don't have your lights set up in the right place, that's why you get the feedback. So those need to be moved to the side and out a little bit. But anyway, 10 minutes. We're going to walk into it slowly, if you will.
Baby steps? It means setting small, reasonable goals for yourself, one day at a time.
So we've got like 10 minutes together. Some potato chips. I don't know, it's a long time. Fuck. The obligatory trigger warning, but why is modesty so important? Why are the princess dresses so important? Well, so pause to read, but basically submission, modesty, all of this stuff, so you can be under the umbrella. This is the umbrella I would be. Now, if you're kicking it at Satan's Tiki Hut, you are probably defrauding people, and let's let Michelle explain what that is.
We believe that a man's physical drives are excited by what he sees, and it is defrauding for a woman to wear clothing that accents her body, instead of bringing attention to her countenance. Defrauding means stirring up sensual desires that cannot be righteously fulfilled. We know that certain desires are a normal part of adolescence and adulthood, but as much as possible, we want to help our children to learn to have self-control over those desires, and we don't want to defraud others. The Bible tells us not to be a stumbling block.
I don't want to mess this whole thing up for anybody. Just kidding. Yes, I do. But is it self-control if they're never exposed to anything? Or is that just... I don't think that's the same thing. Well, what about when they're out in public? Oh, yeah. No.
We're realists. We know the world is full of sensual images at every turn. So while we try to avoid those images whenever practical, we also teach our children self-control, morality, and common sense. If we meet a scantily clad person while we're out in public, you might hear one of us softly say, Nike. That's our code word to our boys that it's probably best to drop their eyes to the sidewalk for a few steps.
That's not self-control, but it's pretty close to being a river in Egypt, just a little different. Denial. Oh my God, like, where's Bruce the shark?
Denial.
Now, of course, it's their belief system, IBLP and everything, but it comes down to just a base level of never taking responsibility for themselves or their actions. Ever. Like, really think about it. Someone did something horrible? Well, that's Satan. Son's a perv? Well, what was she wearing? No. But you know what? Let's get back to prep for the joyous nuptials.
We've done it, guys. Wedding starts at 7, and then it's probably going to go for an hour or so, and then the reception should be a late night tonight.
No dancing, no booze.
Yeah, no dancing, no booze. Just have a good time. And then Josh and Ann will be on their honeymoon.
I don't actually dance at weddings, and I don't drink alcohol either, but it still sounds like a bummer. We should have the option, just saying. But a bunch of you asked about Jim Bob's shirt, so explain that a little bit.
Well, Jim Bob has misplaced his shirt.
Actually, I borrowed one from Gil Bates.
I said, I'll be glad to give you the shirt off my back.
Good thing we're about the same size.
I'll be wearing the dirty white shirt that I wore the other night.
Like, noticeable amount of people noticed the shirt thing, which I thought was interesting. But Gil Bates, not to be confused with Bill Gates, is one of Jim Bob's friends who has very similar leaning. And if I have to have this song memorized for some ungodly reason, we're going to share this moment together just to remind us about that.
Being pure till you're married, staying, saving yourself just for your husband alone. That's God's design. One woman, one man for life.
I will guard your innocence, and all I ask in recompense is that you know the truth inside your Father's heart.
That song just gets worse the further it goes, but even though, and I do want to keep it focused, even though I present this in a light way so that people are more open to listening to it, this is a very, very damaging system, and there's a lot of people out there who are having a hard time with it still, even though they've been out of it for years. So it's serious. There's a certain G word that's being used a lot in inapplicable situations, but let's just look at it this way. So you have a bunch of young women who are being prepared in a certain way so that they can be given to men when they are of age. What do you call that? G and a T. It is just considered socially acceptable because it is done under the guise of religion, unfortunately. But that's exactly what it is.
It all came together, but about an hour before the wedding, I was just like, oh no, have all the little details come in place. So I was like, it's too late for me to run around and check.
I just wanted to include that because I feel like watching this was like the last time you saw Anna like genuinely smile, especially now if you look up pictures of her recently. Oh, the sparkle is gone. I mean, that being said, you thought I was just going to concentrate on the father-son relationship. Oh no, mother-son. It's giving like TikTok boy mom, maybe energy. I don't know. Maybe I'm sensitive.
Last time, yeah. It'll probably be the last time you need me to do this. Realizing that that was the last time I'd be helping Josh shave the back of his neck, it was just kind of a special moment. I love you, Josh.
Love you.
My baby boy.
I'll always be that.
Yes.
I wanted to see if I was rude, so I Googled it. But no, they were just like talking about this like last year in July. So we are in good company with the like. Also, like when was the last time Michelle got to shave his head? Was that before he? Where was he? I don't.
I think it was kind of sad for Mom sending off the first son, but we also kind of look at it the way we're gaining another sister. There we go.
Something to this effect.
Yeah, I know, but where's Esther?
So the closer and closer it got, he looked more devious and she looked more terrified. And then this is just the most awkward because they saw each other before the ceremony and like, watch her hands.
Your eyes. 1, 2. It is 6:02.
Thank you, Josh. We hadn't heard you the first 750 times that you were going to get some later. Thank you. So she looked awkward and uncomfortable, and the wedding photos that day looked great. What about the ones that were taken a few days later? So this is one of the pictures from that day, and don't worry, we're not going to see this exact part of the singing today because we're going to wait for tomorrow. But happy, smiley, seemed to be okay with being there. These were taken about 3 or 4 days later, or this one was. So a little side by side. It's heartbreaking. Pause to read. This will be some of the information that she had been given also at that point. You can never say no. So then we move a little forward to the usual before wedding mishigas. It's a mess. Crazy, you know.
Mates were a little bit late in getting ready for their pictures, so that put all of the pictures running a little bit late.
So, just about an hour before the wedding, I told them, I said, hey guys, I need you to get the wedding ring out of the car. And they all were like, what?
We touched on this in the other parts, but pretty boring altogether as a special, so they did the whole, oh no, the car's wrapped up and the keys are in there, you know, reality shtick.
Tell them, well, they got to get it out. You kind of have to have the ring for the ring part, so.
in that scene, you saw a lot of Bates kids and a lot of Duggar kids, and a lot of you have asked, why have the Bates and the Duggars never kind of brokered a marriage? Well, as of now, they don't mess with each other. After Josh's conviction, believe it or not, that was enough for a lot of these groups to be like, you know, we're not messing with you anymore. It's gone too far when they found out what happened. So, I mean, I guess silver lining, but we'll be doing more of this in the actual ceremony and the song the day after tomorrow, and more Gwen Shamblin tomorrow. So have a good night, and we made it 10 minutes, woo!